Welcome to another Spiritual Awakening with yours truly, A.G. Green Sr. Let me know if you can see me and hear me. Let me know if you can see me and hear me. In fact, let me go on here real quickly. See if I can check this. Doing some checks. I can't tell who's watching. And we are early. I'm early. I'm early. Let me see who Let me know if you can hear me and see me well. Do a test. Okay, let's see if I can find this song. See what we can find. On YouTube. I'm trying to go to the live video and see. Let me know if you can see and hear me well. Testing. Oh, you can see me. Okay, thank you. Blessings, Linda. Thank you. Thank you so much. Awesome. They're still coming in. And I'll explain to you in a moment what's going on. Good to see you. Tag, share, text, tick, sharing, tag. Tag, share, text, share, and tag. Let people know that we are on the air. Linda's hanging out with me. Let me see if anybody showed up on Patreon. Let's see here if we got anybody watches on Patreon. And we got any notifications. Again, I'm about 20 minutes early, and I'm gonna see if a couple more people jumped on with me today and with us on today, and I'm gonna say what I got to say and let you do what you got to do. Good to see you. Tag, share, text. Tag, share, and text. Tag, share, and text, share, and tag. Again. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna explain to you what happened in a minute. So good to see you. My Chris is on as well. Tag, share, text, share, and tag. And you can't see and hear me well? I'm coming through loud and clear? Okay. Sound is loud and clear? Okay. Let me see. Let me text our resident therapist to let him know as well that we're on. Oh my goodness. Okay, thank you so much for the feedback. Thank you for the feedback. Don't forget to follow me at the various social media handles you see at the bottom of the screen, those particular social media sites. Subscribe, like, give hearts, share the posts, especially if they are empowering you. All right. I also want to remind you that we've got a thing going on at Patreon. In the month of January, especially February, more so February, we're going to be amping everything up. So we'll be talking to you more about that. All right? Now unto him that is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we ask or think, and it is according to the power that worketh in us. I want you to type in the comment section, I am Powerful. Come on, type it in the comment section. I am powerful. That's it. Type it in the comment section. I am powerful. It is time that you and I own the power given to us by the Creator, by God, the Creator, the Source, the Sustainer. The power that emanates from us as divine spiritual species. And of course, we operate to access this power through the Christ mind. Type it in the comment section. I am powerful. You've got to know that you know that you know that you know that I am powerful. I am powerful. That's it. That's it. Share it. Wear it. Share it and wear it. Wear it and share it. You should wear the power because you are the power. I'm going to say it again. You should share the power, wear the power because you are the power. Let me see here. Indeed, indeed, indeed. I changed the resolution just a little bit there for you. Thank you so much for being on with me. And it's about that time for me to check in with you. What's good? I want you to tell me about your week, how things are going thus far. What's good? What's good? Tell me about your week and how are things going thus far? Talk to me. What's good? Tell me about your week and how are things going thus far? So glad to see you and you on tonight or whatever time it is you're watching me. And I'm sure we'll have some other people who will come in as we get closer to our usual time for spiritual awakening. Just going to talk to you for a few minutes and let you off here. I'll explain to you in a minute why we're early. But what's good? Tell me about your week thus far. Mine is week has been going, I would say, good thus far. I'm grateful and thankful for wonderful spiritual, mystical, loving experiences. You tell me how, in your own words, how your week has been going. And remember, this is subjective. So this is your interpretation. We would not dare infringe upon your interpretation. How has your week been going thus far? Linda says, blessed week. Wonderful, blessed week. Blessed week. Anybody else? Anybody else want to tell us how your week has been going thus far? I had to move the chair, so excuse that hopping like a bunny thing. Our resident therapist, Pastor Cotton, says, having a full week of gratitude, I am peaceful and ready. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Crystal says, week has been great, no complaints. Feeling grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So I'm on early because it's well, God in universe may not say it's accidental, but it was accidental. And as you can see, a new background. I am back in the Eastern time zone. I'm back in Georgia in a house that I'm living in, and been on the highway. The drive was 11 hours, but I've been on the highway probably 12 with the stops. So, and I'm still thinking about trying to make the adjustments with the time zones because I'm an hour ahead now in the Central Time Zone. And I was looking at the clock, and my uncle was called to talk, and I'm letting him know I need to get off, and I need to get off, thinking that I was supposed to go live at the top of the hour because I got all these things, moving parts mentally. Went to set up the stream and everything, and it wasn't until I think I had hit the live button that I realized, oops, I'm on early. I'm on early. I'm on like almost 30 minutes early. So that's what happened. I got to get readjusted to the time zones. And eventually I will adjust the time here because I've been in the central time zone for 2 years, but now I'm back in the eastern time zone. I want to make some adjustments that work great for all of us. That would, of course, includes you and I. All right. So, so thankful and so grateful that you tune in. So that's why we're on early. But do I look tired? Because I kind of feel tired. I don't like to acknowledge things like that, except, when I just in the interest of being transparent. But I want to share a few things with you. My first question before I get into it is how have the first few days of uh, the new year been for you? Tell me, how have the first few days of the new year been for you? I'm curious to know that. Talk to me. How have the first few days of the new year been for you? I want to see from your own comments how you think that you have been faring in this new year. Talk to me. Talk to me real quickly. Talk to me real quickly. I want to know how thus far you have started your new year. I'm getting next year, Lord have mercy, my brain. Next week, I'm going to participate in more, some spiritual practices to align and ground myself and prepare myself for this year. Okay. Let's see. Thank you so much for that, Chris. I appreciate it. Tell me in your own words how you think your year has been going. Just the first 3 days. We're early into it, but I kind of want to get a sense from you. Let me take that graphic down, that lower third. How do you think it's been going this far? How do you think it's been going this far? Want to hear from you real quick. How do you think it's been going this far? As far as I am concerned, I'm on pace. I have revisited some of my daily spiritual practices that I needed to be more consistent doing, making sure that I'm intentional about doing that every single day. Okay. And receiving some clarity and insight, concerning my assignment and as well as concerning this spiritual community and how to enhance and empower it. And of course, how to take our message globally, even cosmically. So, from that explanation, uh, you know, it's starting pretty good, and I'm going to amp it up uh, definitely next week. Okay, let's see here. My Krista says they've been okay and kind of cruising through them. All right. All right. Anybody else want to share? Anybody else want to share how your year has been going thus far? People make New Year's resolutions, they vow to do better, so forth and so on. And really, it's a situation where I want to monitor your progress. I want to monitor your progress. So again, we're on a little bit early. I'm back in the southeast, in the Eastern time zone. And pray with me, pray for me. I'm a little tired from the drive. I'm gonna get through this, but I accidentally went on early. So this is why we're streaming early. Good to see Monica come in. Anybody else want to share? Y'all quiet. Nobody want to share how from your perspective, your new year has been going thus far? Anybody? Thank you, Krista. She shared how it's been going for her. Anybody else? Anybody else? Okay, our resident therapist. Let's see. He said the emotions of grief from previous months has subsided. And one challenging situation of which a relationship ended just recently. Overall, I've been very steady and present and powerful. Right. Thank you for your transparency, brother. Appreciate that. When Chris is back, she says, having been doing a lot of thinking on where I am now and how much I have grown through the years, it's been a good feeling. Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, we must celebrate our growth and celebrate our victories. Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else? Okay. Let's see. Look like Monica's chiming in. My week has been smooth and peaceful. All right. Wonderful, wonderful. So I'm going to try and finish up some teaching on do the work. And again, I uh, have a leading to place further emphasis because I want this new year to really be new because it's a new you. And I have made that statement to you multiple times, and I'm going to continue to make the statement. The calendar year can change, but if there isn't a new you, there's only a new calendar year, and it's going to be the same old results you've received in previous years. A new year, a literal new year requires a new you. Now, this is what I want to say before I get into some things I'm going to discuss. That ceiling fan, so making it chilly. Uh, I want you to realize that I do think there are some significant themes, portals, and access we have in the calendar year of 2026. Not just, this is the Western, this is the Julian Gregorian, I believe, calendar. Uh, the Jewish calendar is different, but it is 2026. Now, I want you to understand that is what's known as a universal one, and it signifies the power of new beginning, fresh cycles, the leadership and bold action, marking the start of a new 9-year global pattern after 2025's endings. Now, some of you might be saying, well, how do we get a one from that? How do we get a one from that? And let me also put up some more information, and then I'll share with you the numerology formula or the numerology computations. We want to finish up by saying that it's a time for innovation, setting intentions, initiating projects, and stepping into personal power with themes of rebirth and taking charge. The number one emphasizes independence, self-awareness. So this is what I want you to do. And of course, manifesting destiny through clear goals and initiative. Type 2026 in the comment section. 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 Thank you all so much for your cooperation. Appreciate you. So if you're in numerology, the formula is this. You add numbers together, and then after you add the number together, you reduce it. So I'll show you. 2 plus 0 is 2. Okay. Then that same 2 is added to the next 2 in 26, which is 4. And then that 4 is added to a 6 that gives you a 10. Now you have a double digit. And the way in numerology you break that down is you add the individual, we call those integers, you add them together. So you would add in the 10, the 1 plus 0 equals 1. So that's why in numerology, this is a year that is named what is named one. It is one in numerology because of the formula, the breakdown of the digits that I just shared with you. So what I put up on the screen is in numerology what a universal one number signifies. So 2026 in numerology signifies a universal year one. Universal year one. Okay. Not gonna put up the whole well, I put up the second part for those who may have missed it. You can always come back and replay and see it. Okay. And I've talked about kind of numerology before, our connection to it. I don't want to get into it tonight. I just shared that with you for your edification and for your consideration. So, atmospherically, energetically, spiritually, heaven, from the heavenly perspective, universal perspective, this universal one uh, comes with, if you tap into it to access or to initiate the things that I just put up that's associated with the universal one. Don't want to really talk about that, just want to share it with you. I don't know what installment this is. Our resident therapist is on and do the work, but I want everybody to type it in the comment section. I am doing the work. Type that in the comment section. I am doing the work. Type that in the comment section. I am doing the work. I want you to type that for me in the comment section. I am doing the work. I'm doing the work. Now, can anybody explain to me in your own words why it is important, why this message is important? Why is this message important? Why is doing the work important? Real quickly, why is doing the work important? Talk to me. Talk to me. Why is doing the work important? I want to hear in your own words why doing the work is important. And while you are preparing your statements, I'm just going to start a little bit of the teaching and kind of revisit some points that I've already made. And I'm kind of at a spiritual law. I want to touch on that. You can only receive at the level you are. Matthew 13:12, to those who have more will be given. To those who have not, even that they have will be taken. This is a universe that favors people who work with what they have, who multiply their talents, gifts, and ability. Our creator and the universe that has been crafted by the creator, which is filled with the creator itself, always leans and bends towards people who are actively multiplying and utilizing their talents, gifts, and abilities, and at the same time, exercising any kind of action to grow and to expand. So let me hear your explanations here. See, Krista says, because nothing changes if nothing because nothing changes if nothing changes. The work has to be put in. Monica says, faith without works is dead. And resident therapist says, we are divine creators. Creating is what we are and do. So doing the work is our nature. but we must be intentional with doing the work. Absolutely. Absolutely. Even though we teach in this tribe that you can get a physical result or attain a physical result from doing mental work. And we, the Olympic athletes who train mentally exclusively, and then others train exclusively physically. And then there's a group that did both. The group that trained mentally doing exercises advanced in muscle growth and stamina at almost the same rate as people who just exercise physically. So we realize that, but still, there's mental work. There's mental energy that's being expended. There's mental action that's being released. And I want people to recognize the way that we're going to master ourselves and show up in this new year as a better version of ourselves is we're going to have to show up every single day as consistently as we possibly can and do the work. Now, I have been sharing with you, uh, and I kind of heard it said like this, but I've been talking to you about identity. Identity. I want you to type this in the comment section. Identity is reality. Type that in the comment section. Identity is reality. I want you to type that in the comment section for me. I forgot to put my stand up. It's all right. Type that in the comment section. Identity is reality. The next thing I want you all to type in the comment section is, after you type identity is reality, I want you to type identity manifests reality. So this is part 3, do the work, the inner architecture of creation. Thank you, sir. After you type identity is reality, I want you to type identity manifests reality. As I shared with you, it drives everything. It determines limits, choices, relationships, your opportunities, your boundaries, the interpretation of reality, the emotional baseline that you live from. And I'm going to continue to teach this work until I cross over. Identity is reality. Identity manifests reality. Why am I saying this? Because again, you can go through all of the stuff you want to go through in terms of the reading, the prayer, the meditation, the scripting, the breath work, and any other things that you've run across to try and manifest things in your life. But until you become the identity of the one who already has the things you manifested or the things you say you desire to manifest, then you will not see that in your reality. So right now, your identity is creating reality. Your identity is creating reality. Watch this. Our identity can determine where we live. Our identity can determine what we drive. Our identity can and will determine our health. Our identity can and will determine the success or failures of our relationships and in our relationships. Did I make that make sense? So whoever you believe yourself to be now is what's in your world. Because, for example, if you say that I am broke, then you are carrying and emitting, transmitting, embodying the identity of a person who is broke. If you are hurt and wounded, you are carrying right now the identity of a person who's hurt and wounded. So guess what happens with a person who has the identity of somebody who's broke? There's scarcity, lack, shortages are what you have seen manifest in your world. Barely making it, barely scraping, barely getting by. And who knows how you and I developed this core belief that money is hard to come by, and develop this identity of the person who just struggles financially and just never seems to have enough. However, you and I may have arrived to this state of consciousness, we arrived. That identity now is creating a reality, and that identity now is reflecting into the cosmos from within us the identity of a person who does not have means. Same way as a person who's hurt, wounded, and maybe being in this moment mastered by trauma. Again, the things that we do that we call processes are put in place to help shift our identity. Again, I love the text, the biblical text. The biblical text doesn't say, let the weak say that I am weak. It doesn't say, let the weak talk about how weak they are. It says, let the weak say, I am strong. I want you to type this in the comment section. I want you to type this in the comment section. I say what I am, not what I desire to be. Type that in the comment section. I say what I am, not what I desire to be. I'm going to explain that. You might be saying, well, what I'm saying that I am is my actual desire. So what do you mean by that? There's a lot of things we do in terms of our conversation that says, I want to be this, I'm trying to do that, I'm trying to accomplish this, that, or the other. That's good. That's good conversation when you want to carry on the identity of a person who's still striving for something. But when you start training your conscious mind to train your subconscious, when you're trying to bring yourself into alignment with what already is in the spiritual and astral, in the spiritual dimension, excuse me, you don't talk from what you're trying to be. You don't use language of what you're trying to be. In order for you to access what's finished, you have to say what you already are. You have to use I am statements. Okay. Again, neuroscience of becoming, you know, the brain is plastic, adaptive, and moldable. You are not stuck with the identity you inherited from trauma, upbringing, culture, or hardship, says neuroscientist Dr. Norman Doidge. And Norman Doidge writes, neuroplasticity allows the brain to change itself. Identity is not fixed, it is learned. That first statement was actually my statement. What I just said is Doidge's statement. You have the power right now to change. The habit loops to shape identity. MIT neuroscientist shows, the research from MIT neuroscientist shows that behaviors become automatic through repetition. So when you repeat self-doubt, you take on the image and the identity of a person who just doubts. When you repeat complaining, that's how you become a complainer. When you repeat procrastination, that's how you become a procrastinator. When you repeat self-shaming, that's how you become self-shamed. When you repeat thinking and imagining and speaking, playing small, that's how you become small. And when you think, imagining, and speak catastrophizing, that's how you become a catastrophizer or the catastrophized. Those patterns, family, become neurological grooves. Neurological grooves. Okay? The pathways are formed in your brain. I want you to type this in the comments section because this is how we interrupt that. Type interrupt, rewire, rehearse, install, embody. Type that. Interrupt, rewire, rehearse, install, embody. Let me put it up, and I want you to type it in the comment section. If you got a notepad, write it in your notepad too. So the way we have to interrupt the thought with rewiring. our brains. Rewiring, and how does that rewiring take place? We'll talk a little bit about that more later, by changing your thoughts, your images, and your feelings about a situation. You make a new installation, you rehearse, excuse me, the new stuff. Then it begins to install itself on your subconscious mind software. And then after it installs itself, you embody it. You embody it. Your future self has different neural pathways. Embrace this. Different emotional signatures, different psychological habits. Identity is neurobiological. Identity is neurological, or biological. Let me move on. I'm trying to get through some things today. Type in the comment section, emotional calibration. Emotional calibration. You want to become the one who holds more. And the way you and I do this is we must emotionally calibrate. Emotional calibration. Dr. Joe Dispenza says, your personality is made of how you think, how you act, and how you feel. Change those, and you change your personal reality. End quote. I'm going to say it again. Powerful statement. Your personality is made of how you think, how you act, and how you feel. Change those, and you change your personal reality. And we recognize that changing emotions can be a very, very difficult thing, because emotions are basically energetic habits. They are patterns, family, reinforced by past experiences. Many people desire a new life, but remain emotionally loyal to old pain. Whoa, what a statement. They remain emotionally loyal to old pain. I'm putting up Dr. Joe Dispenza's quote real quick on the screen so it can be visible to you, talking about the personality. So how are we thinking right now? What are we doing in terms of our actions? How are we feeling? Okay. We have to learn how to shift out of that. We've embodied the identity of a person who is what we are. But if we're going to shift out of that, and I've gone through the process, and I'm still going through the process, and I'm still growing, but I'm going to say that even when I have lows, my psychological world is much better than it was a year ago, because I had to learn the interrupt. I had to do the work of rewiring. I had to do the work of reframing. I had to do the work of changing thoughts and changing actions, and using feeling and emotion to do it. Watch this. Watch this. Instead of responding to maybe not seeing the bank account balance the way of what I wanted to see when I checked it, usually there would be maybe a drop, a letdown, a discouraging word might pop up in my heart and my mind, and it's just an emotion that is negative, that is disappointing, that is frustrated, that is discouraged. But what I start doing is replacing it with positivity. I check that account balance. It doesn't look like what I believe I have manifested. And instead of my heart sinking, I get happy. I rejoice. I live as if it's already fulfilled. I live as if it's already supplied. This is where the work begins in terms of retraining and rewiring our brains, and these, moving out the old energetic habits and bringing in new energetic habits. Watch this. Your future self does not live with anxiety about money. Your future self does not live with fear of rejection. It does not live with shame about the past. It does not live with guilt for wanting more. It does not live with anger toward what happened. It does not live with hopelessness about change. Woo! So doing the work, family, requires emotional calibration. Watch this. Here are some emotional mastery practices. Some emotional mastery practices. I'm going to give you a few. Type mindfulness in the comment section. Mindfulness in the comment section. Type mindfulness in the comment section. Type mindfulness in the comment section. Okay? Mindfulness, metacognizing. Okay? Being more self-aware in this self-awareness experience, aware of what I'm thinking, aware of enough to pose the question, well, why am I thinking this? Aware of feelings and aware of being able to ask the question, and why am I feeling like this? Aware of my emotional state and being able to be aware enough to ask the question, why am I having this emotion? You are checking thoughts at the door. You are checking emotions and feelings. The next thing is, I want you to type it in the comment section, is breath work. Breath work. I will do some teaching on breath work in the future, or bring somebody in, or some of y'all that's watching me who's a part of the tribe, you may know about breath work. If you do, let's get together. You might be the one to teach the breath work. Breath work is in conjunction with one of the latter things on this list, nervous system regulation. There are so many physiological things that breath work does to us, with us, does on our behalf, does for us, that when we do it properly, it can help open channels into the spiritual, but more importantly, it can help regulate you. And I'm not just talking about the deep breaths and holding. No, there's legitimate training and legitimate, breath work techniques for different situations and circumstances. Okay. Here's another practice, journaling. Type that in the comment section, journaling. Journaling. So we got mindfulness, right? We got breath work. Now I want you to type it in the comment section, journaling. Now listen, for me and from what I've read in terms of the science, journaling is more effective when you write with a pen or a pencil on a piece of paper. I'm pretty sure many of you all have probably done journaling, even if it's inconsistently, you've done it. Listen, there are so many powerful aspects to journaling that I don't even want to open up that can, of good things to discuss. But when we journal, there's something about collecting your thoughts, gathering your thoughts, watch this, analyzing your thoughts, and something about writing and then being able to, reflect, uh, reflect objectively. There's something about being able to experience an emotion while you're writing it, a good one, and then while you're writing it, release of an emotion you don't want. Journaling is very important. It's cathartic. It's a form of therapy, but it's also something that's liberating and freeing and helps us to master emotions. Sometimes you just need to journal or write it out. I want you to type in the comment section, trauma healing. Trauma healing. Type that in the comment section. Trauma healing. Trauma healing. Doing the work, whether it's seeing a counselor or practicing and exercising certain techniques, trauma healing is very, very, very important. When we learn how to confront our trauma and heal the trauma, then we're going to be able to master our emotions. Because the truth be told, many times people are acting the way they do because of trauma, even if it's in the subconscious part of our being, is controlling the conscious mind and controlling the body itself. That's why there is typically no cogitation process, no analysis process. People immediately switch gears when a trigger occurs because of the trauma. So trauma healing, type that. The next one is somatic awareness. That's body awareness. Lord have mercy. There's some deep things in this teaching, deep things that we were going to have to revisit. Being aware of your body, knowing how to purge your body, recognizing that you and I hold energy. We're energy beings. And within the matrix of this three-dimensional flesh, this panoply of flesh that we are, is a body. The ancients believed it had chakras. The ancients believe it had energy centers. We know about pressure points. Okay. We are harnessing good energy. We're harnessing bad energy. The good energy in our bodies it helps the heart. It helps the organs. The bad energy doesn't. Being aware of your body. Watch this, and how to use certain techniques uh, to release the pressure and release the stress. The next thing is inner child repair. Type that in the comment section. Inner child repair. Inner child repair. And maybe real quickly, maybe our resident therapist would put something in the comment section for us about the inner child. A lot of grown-ups don't understand that they're acting the way they act because of the trauma of the inner child. The child that's never healed, the child that's never grown up in certain areas, the child that's still fighting in the present something that happened X amount of years ago. There's an inner child in all of us. And if that inner child is not healed, and certain therapists can take you through certain techniques to revisit your inner child and confront your inner child, teach your inner child, heal your inner child. Once we overcome that, master the inner child, okay, then we can find ourselves in emotional mastery. Let's see if he put anything up on the inner child yet. We'll give him a minute. Our resident therapist, Pastor Cotton, I want him to put something up on that. We're going to move on to nervous system regulation. Type that in the comment section. Nervous system regulation. Did we put up inner child? Yes, we did. Nervous system regulation. Nervous system regulation. Put that in the comment section. Again, mindfulness, breath work, counseling. These are all things that contribute to nervous system regulation. Many times, the only thing we need to do to move from anxiety into calm is nervous system regulation. There are certain things now, believe it or not, I'm not living in this Zen mode all the time. I'm not living in this bliss all the time. There are times I become unbalanced, emotionally, and in terms of my thoughts and my imagination. And I have to do certain things to regulate my nervous system, to bring me back to the center, to bring me back into the place of where my power is, where my power dwells, to bring me back into more of an awareness of self and more an awareness of my partnership with the creator, source, and sustainer, so that now I can do like Yeshua. I can speak to storms and walk on water. All right. So many things that techniques that are shared with us are to help regulate our nervous system. Let's see if we got anything up yet. Okay, here we go. A resident therapist, and this is a certified therapist family, says symptoms of a wounded inner child in adults often involve intense emotional reactions, self-sabotage, people-pleasing, fear of abandonment, low self-esteem, perfectionism, difficulty setting boundaries. Okay, he must be a part 2 to that. Look like it cut off at the E. Difficulty setting boundaries. All right. Pastor Cotton, would you briefly give them a definition of perfectionism? Real quickly, a definition of perfectionism. Now, what did y'all think about our resident therapist post right quick? What did y'all think about that real quickly? What did you think about the symptoms of a wounded inner child? Talk back to me. Give me some feedback. What do you think about what he just typed and what I just put up on the screen? That definition. You don't have to tell me if you witnessed it or experienced it, or if your inner child is still wounded. I just want your feedback as to what you thought about the information he just shared. Let's see here. Linda's the first to respond. Linda says, on point. All right. Monica says, very interesting. Makes a lot of sense. Krista says, makes complete sense. Okay. We all have an inner child. Okay. We all have an inner child. He's going to put up the definition of perfectionism when he's ready. The next thing I want you to type in the comment section is rehearsing elevated emotions. Rehearsing elevated emotions. Type that in the comment section. We're still talking about emotional mastery practices. Rehearsing elevated emotions. Rehearsing elevated emotions. Type that in the comment section. Rehearsing elevated emotions. Thank you so much. And let's see here. Let's see here. I'm going to do a quote, put a quote up that kind of explains that a little bit. Dr. Fredrickson says, sustained positive emotions broaden awareness and build new psychological resources. So, like I talked about the money, okay, there's a certain, it's like an index, a file or files, emotional files. We all have emotional files connected to scenarios, situations, and circumstances that we interpret to be bad, negative, catastrophic, chaotic, depressing, discouraging, whatever the case may be. And when we're trying to retrain and rewire and reframe, when we encounter a situation that normally tripped us up, normally took us out of ourselves, and we become self-aware through mindfulness and metacognition and realize this is not appropriate. I need to not allow this to take me down the river kind of thing. I see that bank account and I immediately go like, oh, the wind is knocked out of me. And then I start thinking about how life is hard and it's difficult. And, people, I'm going paycheck to paycheck and I'm just tired of struggling. Before you know it, folks are crying. They crying, they choked up, cry. It happens. Or it just throws them off the rest of the day. What I had to learn to do is see that bank account with the balance that I am and attach an emotion, train myself to know in the moment, this is already done and I'm happy about it. So if you check that bank account and there's $1 in it, or it's negative $500 or negative $50, and normally that may just floor you, discourage you, whatever the case may be. When that happens to you again, look at that account. Don't see a negative balance. See the balance you want to see. And more importantly, reaffirm with an emotion that this is real for you, that you actually have this positive amount of money, this net amount of money in the account. And what's going to happen is, even if the negative balance don't change for 2 weeks, don't change for 2 months, every time you view it, once your brain is rewired and your body is rewired with the new feeling and the new emotion of abundance, of overflow and supply, when you see that balance again, not only will you not believe that balance, you won't react to it negatively. Because you've trained your brain, that's not me. You've trained your body, we don't live there anymore. You've trained yourself from the future self that lives in abundance and overflow. Am I making any sense to anybody? Talk back to me. Can you still hear me and see me well? Let me know if you can still hear me and see me well. I'm going to shut it down in just a few minutes. Can you still hear me and see me well? Can you still hear me and see me well? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Here's what he says. At the core of perfectionism is a deep-seated unconscious fear, usually unnoticed and mentally configured to appear to be useful in an individual's functioning. I'll say it again. At the core of perfectionism is a deep-seated unconscious fear, usually unnoticed, so the fear is unnoticed, and mentally configured to appear to be useful in an individual's functioning. Now, I want to ask the therapist another question. So, as it relates to this inner child, what's the connection between uh, the adult struggling because the inner child uh, is damaged or comes up with the notion or with the philosophy of the necessity of perfectionism. And I will say this while he's preparing an answer. Many times, perfectionism is birthed in us when we feel inadequate as a child, meaning we can't live up to our parents' expectations. We feel like we can't live up to our family's expectations, or we feel like we lack. And the way to be validated is to have, for example, we feel like we're not smart enough, we're not handsome or pretty enough, we're not liked enough, uh, we're not popular enough, or we're not accepted. Then many times, uh, if there is a punishment in the ecosystem you live in, for example, if there is going to be some kind of jokes hurled at you if you don't look the way they think you ought to look, then you feel a deficit. A deficit immediately, many times, forms in a child. So now they have a drive to look the best that they can be, and they have to be perfect and flawless in their appearance. Okay. Other times, it's not being able to live up to the standards of family. So that's why they're striving to make good grades, because they want that pat on the back, to be accepted, to be validated, to have a sense of belonging, that I am worthy in the moment. But I do want him to expand on that a little bit. So many times, this drive for perfectionism starts in an inner deficiency that we feel as a child, based on our interpretation and based on our experiences with people who validate us, and in this case, who we think are not validating us. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So y'all said it's making sense to you. It's making sense to you. Okay, thank you for the feedback on being able to see and hear me well. All right. So now rehearsing elevated emotions again is about joy, practicing confidence, practicing gratitude. Okay. Do you know you can practice being happy? Do you know that? One of the ways, I was listening to a powerful ebook coming here. Gratitude is a powerful way to elevate your emotions. It's a powerful way to condition your psychological filter. And it is a powerful, powerful way to elevate your emotions. If you've lived in darkness and with dark moods and dark clouds over your head, sometimes it's difficult for that person, even when they should be happy, to experience happiness. Okay? If you've withdrawn yourself from being affectionate for whatever reason, and you realize you should be more affectionate and more outgoing, the way to do that is to practice that. Practice, go out of your way to be that. Even when it may seem like the situation don't call for it, you have to practice first in your mind, seeing yourself doing it. You can practice in your meditations, or I should say your visualization, seeing yourself doing that thing. And then when the opportunity presents itself, you will follow through with it in a natural physical sense. Okay? There are some things that may not have come natural to us that we just have to practice doing. And watch this, having joy, watch this, and having confidence, practicing confidence, seeing yourself confident and bold, all right, is one of those things. Let's see here. Let's see here. I think I'm gonna stop there and pick up with metaphysics about embodiment is creation next time. I came on early. Okay, here's our resident therapist. This is what he says. The adult inner child, due to unresolved trauma, seeks a relief or escape from the fear that is operating unconsciously. Okay, that makes sense. This seeking behavior is the perfectionist behavior that shows up in, I'm waiting on that last statement, to come up. Shows up in what exactly? So I'll reread it until he puts up the finishes the statement. The adult inner child, due to unresolved trauma, seeks a relief or escape from the fear that is operating unconsciously. Now, this is what I want to say about trauma. And I think I had him on a year or so ago, and we talked about some things. A lot of times people associate trauma with what we may consider to be, maybe I call it the big stuff, like physical violence or sexual violence. But do you realize that we can interpret mistreatment as abuse, which is trauma for us as a child, and nobody may have ever touched us physically? It could be a look or a repeated look, or it could be systematic patterns of treatment that the child feels. For example, if they feel like they're being isolated or overlooked, trauma can develop in them. A trauma can develop in them that leads to a dysfunction. I just want to make that plain. He finishes by saying that intrapersonal and interpersonal relationships. Okay, let me see if I got that. It shows up. Here we go. This seeking behavior is the perfectionistic behavior that shows up in their intrapersonal and interpersonal relationships. Intra, within. Inter is the interactions with other people. The relationships will show a dynamic of control and punishment towards self and the other individual. I'm going to read that again. Will show a dynamic of control and punishment towards self. So they're going to punish themselves, seek to control themselves, seek to punish themselves. Sometimes they seek to control other people too. But it starts intra, meaning with themselves. Okay? So they punish themselves for what they perceive to be failure. They punish themselves when they feel like they missed the mark. They punish themselves when they felt like they just didn't do something or get something right. And then the other times they unleash this punishment when they feel that they failed on other people or other individuals. Okay, thank you so much, sir. He hooked us up tonight. Come on, let's show some love for our resident therapist, Pastor Cotton. Come on, let's show some love tonight to him. What did y'all think about what he put up tonight? Real quickly, give me some more feedback on this last statement that he just shared with us. What do y'all think about what he just said? Have you seen that in individuals and people? Have you seen that in yourself? Have you seen that, as they say, around the way? Did he make it make sense for us? Did he make it make sense for us? Talk back to us. And we're going to show him some love at the same time. We're going to show him some love at the same time. Okay? Talk back to me. Give me some feedback while you're showing him love at the same time. And this is a place I'm going to stop. This is a place I'm going to stop. Again, the first few steps I gave you, family, if you do the same things, you get the same results. What did they say the definition of insanity means? Doing the same thing over and over again, thinking you're going to get a different result. Okay? Okay, Linda says, Pastor Kotze says, makes very good sense. Hillary says, yes, good and accurate information. Thank you. Okay, so with what I've shared with you tonight, do you see why this information is critical in helping to launch a new you in a new calendar year? Do you see why, family? Do you see why? Okay. He putting up, we got some more information. Adult inner child comes out in relationships with demonstration of exaggerated extremes of behavior. High highs, low lows. Very good information. High highs, low lows. Thank you, sir. Profound information for all of us, or anybody we know who's dealt with that. You'll know how to deal with that when you see it in the future. Can anybody see how the information we shared tonight contributes to, is very vital to developing and and evolving and transforming into a new you so that you can literally have a new year. Wow. Can you see that? You got another note, a resident therapist. Another note. People are appreciating the information. We got some knowledgeable people in this tribe. Okay. All right. So I'm not going to sit up here. See, for example, people will go on a fast and traditional Christians, they'll read their Bible, but they won't do any of this work that I just said. So in 3 months or 4 months, they right back to where they were before. They're disillusioned, disenchanted, uninspired. I'm chuckling, but it's not funny, but it's really the truth. And I'm encouraging you to know and to understand you and I must do the work. Plain and simple. These things I just mentioned, we just must do work. And if we do the work, the inner work, we're going to see some powerful, powerful things change in our identity. And once our identity is changed, our reality is going to change. Okay. Last but not least, I don't want to go into detail, but who wants to hear a personal testimony? Who wants to hear a testimony? Type yes or no. And it's not my testimony either, but who wants to hear a personal testimony? Who wants to hear a personal testimony? Type yes or no. Who wants to hear a personal testimony? I want to hear from you real quickly. Who wants to hear a personal testimony? All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. A personal testimony. All right. So, do you all remember our recent I recently asked you all to put your prayer requests in the comment section. Remember that? And I asked us all to pray and speak a word over the people who put up their prayer requests in the comment section. I asked you to use your own visual scene to see it done. Who remembers that? 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 Talk back to me. Who remembers that? If you remember, say, I remember. If you remember, say, I remember. Real quickly. Okay. Well, guess what? Guess what? This lady who said I do put a prayer request up in the comment section. She didn't say specifically what it was. She just needed some yeses. Yeses. I'm going to ask this lady, did your prayer get answered this week? This person that you see on the screen right now. Did your prayer get answered this week, ma'am? That would be referring to Hillary. Did your prayer get answered this week? Waiting on her. Ta-da! Miraculous money showed up with a miraculous opportunity, blah, 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 so forth and so on. She can tell her own testimony. I love testimonies because it's further confirmation that principles work. Yes, she did some stuff individually, but we also did some things collectively on her behalf. We agreed with her, and the miracle did manifest. Yes, it was touch. It felt like it was touch and go. Yes, she received some encouragement, but you, as the tribe family, many of you saw the request and you did what you did in agreement, seeing it as done, and it happened. Okay. And if there are others of you who put your prayer requests up, and that prayer, whenever that prayer request is answered, family, please share it with the tribe. The tribe is not trying to be nosy. The tribe just wants to celebrate you. And I, as the leader and the teacher in this tribe and of this tribe, just want to inspire and encourage somebody else to say, hey, this thing is working if you work it, if you apply it, if you embody it. It does work. And it was a profound blessing, or blessings plural, of things that happened for her this week. All right, family. Love y'all. Don't forget to give as you are blessed to give. I appreciate those who sow and give offerings, who still believe in the law of reciprocity, and love me enough and love this platform enough that you, when you can, you give. And I want you to continue to do that because it means so much to me. All right, got some great things coming up and great announcements about some things coming forth. Won't share them tonight. Love you. Thank you for being on tonight. And I see many of you all in a couple of days. Shalom, shalom, peace, wholeness, and prosperity. Nothing missing, nothing broken. It is so, and so it is. Thank you for being a part of this journey of awakening and transformation. Support the light through Revolution Inc. by liking, sharing, and giving. Cash App $AG Green and $AG Green Enterprises. You can also give by Zelle. Anthony G. Green at hotmail.com is what you use. And Chime $Anthony/Green/336. If you haven't joined as a member of Patreon, now is a good time. We're a spiritual community that's evolving, transforming, and ascending. If you like what you have seen and heard, connect with us. It's time to vibe with your tribe. Also take time to visit theaggreen.com for the latest developments and just explore divinespeciesshop.com for spiritual tools to elevate your life. Your love and support helps keep this mission alive.